Okay.
Carl, you rolling?
Is this it? I think it's gonna make all that noise, man.
Mr. Brown, how did you feel about that statement by
I'm gonna release a
ranking...
statement. I'm gonna release a statement first to the press,
Well,
and then I'll answer
questions.
Right.
Are you going to repeat that statement?
I'm gonna include some more in the statement.
Go ahead.
I am charged with inciting black people to commit an offense by way of protest against the law, a law in which neither I nor any of my people had any say in preparing. The law against which the protest was directed, and that law is the law which denies freedom, is the law which established this country. I consider myself neither morally nor legally bound to obey laws made by a body which I had no representation. Now, I want to speak about conspiracy on the part of Lyndon Johnson, the governors of Maryland and Virginia, to shift the blame of rebellions to black people, being myself, and a black organization being SNCC. There was an agreement made between the FBI and my attorney, William Kunstler, that I should go to New York to surrender. The FBI, who found out where I was the night before, not only bugged my phone, but followed me to the airport. When I entered the airport, an agent was standing at the door. Yet, they instructed the airport police to make the arrest, to detain me, while they made a false phone call saying that they were calling FBI agents in. FBI agents were on the scene when I got there. They knew what was going on. The conspiracy was that I should not leave Washington, D.C., because if I got to New York, then the governor of Virginia was to be no avail. You see, America has finally removed its black robe, which was cloaked in justice, the pretense of justice, and it showed its white sheet. America and J. Edgar Hoover, through J. Edgar Hoover, played the same role that the cracker honky Peckerwood sheriff down south plays. They detained me, they held me over under the pretense of law for the lynch mob of Maryland and Virginia. Now we want to let them know we recognize what happened, and that we also recognize that individuals do not create rebellions, conditions do. Until they begin to address themselves to those conditions, rebellions will continue and they will escalate. At this point, I'd like to thank the people of Alexandria, Virginia, for their support, their vocal support, their physical support, and their financial support, in that they stayed out there from the time that I was in prison until the time I was released. That's the type of black peoplehood that we've been talking about all along. This is what America is forcing black people to do. Sometimes the question has been raised about why black men fight and have fought for this country. It is the black man's implacable will to be free that makes him fight for this country. And it is that same will that will make him fight this country. I want to address myself now to problems as they exist in the black community across America. And America cannot be considered as a stable and just society. But no stable and just society can mount a successful offensive against black youth who break a window and at the same time plead that it is powerless to protect black youth who are being murdered because they seek to make American democracy a reality. Each time a black church is bombed or burnt, that is violence in our streets. Each time a black body is found in the swamps of Mississippi and Alabama, that is violence in our land. Each time black right workers cannot be protected by the government, that is anarchy. Each time a police officer shoots and kills a black teenager, that is urban crime. You see, we recognize America for what it is, the Fourth Reich. And we tell America to be on notice, because if you are going to play Nazis, black folks ain't going to play Jews.
Yeah, man.
At this point, I want to address myself to the so-called Negro leaders who find it their will and their right to condone the sending of federal troops rather than federal aid to the impoverished and war-stricken people of rebellions, we say to these leaders, there is something morally wrong with your analysis of America's political situation. How can you tell black people to be nonviolently and at the same time condone the sending of white killers into the black communities? It's something wrong. How can you say that you are for peace when in the same breath you condemn one war and condone another and endorse that war? It's something wrong. To an editorial, to an article that appeared on the editorial page, the Washington Post, which really bespeaks and portrays America's mentality where black people are concerned. The article is called Riot Insurance. It advocates that federal aid be sent not to black people who have legal grievances in those areas, but that federal aid be extended to the proprietors and store owners whose stores were damaged and burned down. They have failed to recognize the message in that burning. Those buildings were burned because black people don't want the honky cracker in their communities. Now, if the federal government is not willing to purchase those businesses and give it over to black people, if they give fire insurance, riot insurance to these people and the buildings are built, they will be burnt down again if they are not owned by black people. We are going to control our communities by any means necessary. We built the country up, we'll burn it down. You can quote that. Now, what the article said, that slums need good stores. Why do we need good stores if we don't have good houses, if we don't have good education? That's absurd. A good store doesn't mean anything to a black person who can't eat, who has no money to buy from that good stores. You better address yourself to putting good housing in that community, and you better address yourselves to putting good politics in America. That's what we want to talk about. You see, Lyndon Johnson and George Wallace is one and the same. The only difference between Lyndon Johnson and George Wallace is that one of them's wife has cancer, and that's it. There's no difference. Both of them are honky redneck peckerwood crackers, and they should be dealt with accordingly. Johnson will not win in '68. I will personally vote for Wallace before I vote for Johnson. So if you have any questions at this
Mr. Brown, you were quoted as saying this morning that Cambridge was beautiful. What did you mean by that?
Now that was a misquote in the sense that Cambridge was beautiful in that it was burnt down. The people in Cambridge are beautiful. What was beautiful about Cambridge was that black people began to respond to the needs of black people. They began to respond to the needs of their community and the protection of that community. That is what was beautiful about Cambridge and every other rebellion. People began to address themselves to the need. Because we have to understand, America showed us what she respects. In Plainfield, New Jersey, America made it incandescently clear that she respects force. Plainfield is the most successful rebellion that has been held to date. One casualty, a honky cop. One casualty, a honky cop who had no business over there in the beginning. And the brothers told the cops, they say, yeah, we got the weapons. We got 46 automatic weapons. And if you come in here, we will use them against you. White folks didn't want to die, so they told them, don't go in there. They did not go in there. That's a show of control. They control their community. I don't care if they didn't control it, but one day they controlled it. And the only way they could control it was through arms. So America recognizes arms and armed forces. So black people had better begin to arm themselves and defend their communities.
Brown, will you go back to Cambridge?
Give me a time span. What do you mean? Will I go back to Cambridge today?
Back in Cambridge this summer.
This summer? There's a strong possibility that I will be back in Cambridge this summer.
Where
as
else?
soon as white folks clear up their legal mess.
Where else are you planning to travel this summer?
I have a schedule that I'm planning. I intend to be all across the country this summer.
Very much in Washington.
I shall be in Washington.
You suggested earlier that Negroes possibly should take offensive action. What do you mean by that?
I did not suggest that Negroes black people take offensive action. I said that black people are beginning to move toward a type of offensive action in these rebellions. I understand that these rebellions have become legitimatized in that black community. Heretofore, rebellions were scorned, not only in the middle-class black community, not only in the white community, but they were scorned in the lower communities. This is not the case anymore. People recognize, and the poor people recognize first, what it takes to get the man off your back, what it takes to get freedom in America. America used violence to secure her freedom, and they used us every time in a war to participate in violence to ensure her freedom. And we learned well from America. Violence is a part of American culture, and black folks are a part of America. So therefore, if we accept any of your culture at this point, it will be your violent nature.
Mr. Brown, were the kids who went up and down Fifth Avenue last night breaking windows in New York, were they rebels or were they thieves?
They were black men.
Draw the line, Mr. Brown.
I didn't.
You make a distinction between Negroes and black men. What this line?
Oh, wow. Negro. The word Negro is a word coined for black people to lose their identity. They were given the term Negro, which means nothing, has no significance as far as black people are concerned. Negro is not a race. Black constitutes a race. Negro does not constitute a race. Black people have to begin to identify with the word black and with other black people, not Negroes. You don't decide what I am. You see, animals and slaves are named after and by their masters. Men name themselves.
Hey, baby, all right. Yeah. Hey, yeah.
Do you think your arrest actually went as far as the White House? Do you think the White House had its finger in your capture, your arrest?
I think Lyndon Johnson discussed it with Lady Bird.
Mr. Brown, is your definition here, do you feel that if a black man steals or breaks the window of a white man, it can't be a crime by definition?
How can you steal from a thief? We were looted from Africa. America looted the country from the Indians. This is the biggest thief going. She owes us dues, and she is going to pay us dues for owing us. We are not looting. America is the greatest looter going. She is looting in Vietnam. Don't talk to me about thievery, baby. You got too long a record.
Compare how much we both stole. Anything else? Thank you.
Talk about a conspiracy. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the same riot attacks in Newark, Detroit. Is this organized? Is there somebody organized?
Yes, Lyndon Johnson is organizing rebellions. You didn't know? I accuse Lyndon Johnson of organizing rebellions all across America. And I think that it is intentional because he allows those conditions to exist that are conducive for rebellions.
What's it going to take to stop it?
A black president.
Maybe Martin Luther King.
No.
Who?
Might be Martin Luther King.
Might be Big Gregory.
No. Thank you.
He's done all right in the way he's left.
Black people in Washington will decide what will happen in Washington, D.C. But if Washington, D.C. don't come round, black folks gonna burn it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do they have to come around, bro?
That's a self-explanatory question if you've been listening to me all day, man.
Mr. Brown in Saginaw, where they've got a Negro mayor, they've had some trouble too.
They need a black man.
What happened to Nick's plans to making D.C. a target city for this summer?
Nothing happened. D.C. is still a project area. It's still considered by SNCC a project area. We have staff people working in Washington, D.C. They will continue to work in Washington, D.C. under the auspices of our director in Washington, D.C., Mr. Lester McKinney here.
Are there any plans for...
Watch it. All right. No, say her. Cool it. No, cool it. Cool it. You got your car over there. Wait. No, you wait. All right. Let's go. Wait a minute. Let me say right now. They had to move out in a hurry, but Rap wanted to tell you, thanks loads for staying.